desperate situation. Joining me now, the A-Team. Dom Giordano, a radio talk show host on WPHT in Philadelphia. Dom, thank you and welcome to you. And Dr. Jason Johnson, political science professor at Hiram College and politics editor for the Source magazine. Gentlemen, thank you first and foremost for being here, but let's get right into this story out of Ferguson, Missouri. Jason, let me begin with you. There's some interesting facts, non-facts coming out of this story. But let's begin with the one that is constantly being asked. We don't know the officer in question. The police say it's for his own protection. What's your thoughts on that?
It's disgusting. He is a public official. And as somebody who represents the public, as someone who the taxpayers pay for, they should reveal who he is. And if the police believe that it was a justifiable shooting, look, I understand giving police protection to the guy's family. I understand saying, hey, look, he's left town because we think people might be violent or dangerous towards him. But they should at least reveal the name. The idea of not revealing the name to the taxpayers who are concerned about this man's behavior is an absolute violation of their responsibility to the people.
Dom, would you agree?
No, I wouldn't fully agree at all. He's not a public official, Jason. He's just a cop, and they're looking at this to protect him. I would rather they reveal it. I agree with that. But the atmosphere there around officials in Ferguson, I think, is pretty intense. And I think that over the course of time, they will reveal his name, and they should.
He's a public employee. His name should be revealed. Taxpayers should know who's working for them. And he's working for them. And shooting Mike Brown is something he said, or obviously thought he was doing, and working for the constituents. He should make that clear.
Dom, let me bring up this.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead, Dom. Answer that.
No, go ahead, Ashley. That's okay.
Well, I wanted to get into the police department itself. There's 53 fully commissioned officers, 50 of which are white. So the community itself, you could argue, is polarized to some extent because there's not representation of what the community is itself. It's not a mirror reflection. That, I think, is a problem. Also, there's this tendency, I think, of us and everybody else mentality in the police. Would you not agree? And do you think situations like this highlight that very issue?
Well, I would say this. I'm in Philadelphia, and it is a very diverse police force, Ashley, and that's a good thing. That does bring a perspective to it. But that doesn't ensure there's not going to be an us against them mentality here. And some of the people in the community are responsible for this, and I think it is a good point right now to look at this and to see if the police can diversify coming out of this. But that is not the core element, in my view, looking at it from afar, of what triggers things like this. And there's no excuse for rioting.
Yeah, look, what's going to happen is when you have the police shoot somebody in broad daylight and then not talk to his family and leave his body in the street for hours and then not actually have any sort of police liaisons. Where were the police who were already in the community? Where were the cops who were walking the streets? They were acting like an occupying army, and that's why people get angry. And I'll be honest with you, the reason that the police force has been diversified in Philadelphia is because of riots that you had in the 60s and bombings like you had with MOVE in 1987. It usually doesn't happen until there's some sort of riot.
Go ahead,
No, that's not true at all. And let me take you back to what you just said. That sounds like a justification for rioting. There is no justification for this. It's outrageous what's going on.
I'm not justifying any rioting. I'm saying that usually when you have a segregated police force, it doesn't end up getting diversified until you have some sort of violent reaction where the police were shown to be incompetent or incapable of handling a community. That's a problem.
No, that's
the cops
not why,
have failed from the very beginning in this situation.
Well, that brings up a question, Dom.
That's not why Philadelphia was diversified. It was diversified because America has moved forward. We are in an era of much better race relations, and that's why things have happened
because
that are better in places like Philadelphia.
And because people complain.
Not because we had riots. That's not true at all. They may have complained, but riots don't result in diversification.
So what do you hope that comes out of this, Jason?
I hope that on, I believe it's April 7th of next year, when you have the Ferguson city elections, there's a real change in that city. Because I think all this passion, if it doesn't show up in the ballot box, then it's been a waste of time. I think the citizens should get out, register to vote, and try to initiate some changes at the government level.
Dom, what do you hope comes out of this?
Well, I think that's a very good thing, too. I agree with Jason on that. I hope there is reform in Ferguson if that's what is driving this, without a doubt. I'm in agreement on that.
All right, we're out of time. We were going to talk about Iraq and everything else, but this is an interesting topic, and it's going to continue to be so. I thank you both for being here. Dom Giordano and Jason Johnson, thank you for being here tonight. Appreciate it.